This is Gerry from Rhythmia in Costa Rica, Guanacaste, Costa Rica. It's a beautiful day, and the title of this is New Beginnings Update 1. I want to tell you a little bit about Rhythmia. We are a life advancement center located in Guanacaste, Costa Rica. We use sacred plant medicine combined with metaphysical teachings to bring about an amazing change. The work that we've done here has made us the #1 customer rated resort on TripAdvisor in the world of any type. This little beautiful place in Guanacaste. And I just want to ask you that today, if you'd be kind enough to press share at any time throughout this talk where something moves you, where you feel like someone else can benefit from it. It's the only way we get our message out, so you'd be helping us a great deal and participating with us if you share it. So I want to tell you, let's talk about a couple of different things. So that's what's unique about Rhythmia. The coolest thing about us is that 6 months after you've been here, you're given another survey. 97.55% of the people that have been here say this was the week that changed their life, and the miracle that they received is still working in their lives 6 months later. We are in Costa Rica, and I hope that our government allows us to open up in July, and if not, I'm thinking the latest will be August, and you'll be able to be here and experiencing all that we experience here. I'd love to have you here. So let's talk a little bit about this. 12 weeks ago, I said that the coronavirus had a 17% infection rate and a 0.03% mortality rate. That is proven, not the infection rate, because we really don't know. It looks like 12%. And the mortality rate is almost spot on 0.3%. People say, how could you do that? I'm not a scientist, have no degree, didn't graduate high school, but I have the use of plant medicine. Maybe the folks at the WHO need some plant medicine, and listen to the mother. The next thing is this. I have a friend who's an epidemiologist, and he's telling me about how this mutates. So it going away will probably never happen, right? But what does happen, each time it mutates, it becomes more contagious, but less deadly. So this is just going to be a part of our life very shortly. It's just like the H1N1 or something else of that type. It'll just be a part of the landscape. So I just want to let you know what I know about that. And the way that it's stacking up is actually beautiful. On the riots, 2 weeks ago, I told you they'd be over in a week. And they were. Now on the protesting continues, and the cause is super important. We're going to come out of this a better, happier, healthier, more fair community. We're talking about reintegrating into society. Our jobs, our friends, our community, our churches. We're talking about getting together again. And in Florida, it's already happening, right? So what's this thing about what can we and how can we get the most out of what happened during this time? Well, the first thing is this. If we're merged, when we return to life, we're returning from a merged place. And from that merged place, we can best serve our community. And this is what this is really about. How can we best serve them? Because as a merged person, we are doing what was intended for us to be doing. So what are we talking about? We're talking about our life's work. How can we be the greatest beneficial presence on this planet? And I want to tell you something. It's impossible to do it by trying to be someone else. It's impossible. The only way that we can do this is fully expressing our merged self. That's it. That's the only way that we can do it. So a lot of us are going to be healers. And I have a thing about that. As a matter of fact, people don't know it, but the medicine showed me this. All humans have the ability to heal. Energetically, all kinds of ways, but very few know it. But let's talk about healing. So when we are unmerged, we can be a wounded healer. And what is it with a wounded healer? Well, a wounded healer is a person who has not addressed their own wounds, might not be merged, and is out healing people as a distraction from the real hard work that goes on with their own wounds. And the days of the wounded healer are over, because when you're healed by a wounded healer, you're also healed with his or her bias or biases, right? So it's like being taught to play golf from a slicer. So this new thing, this new way of being in the world, this new fully expressing yourself, there's lots of good news in today's message about being fully expressed and fully feeling everything and being the merged you. But in this new world, if you are merged, if you use this time alone to have this thing happen to you, to have this new centeredness, what you're going to know is that you're going to feel strongly mission-centric. Strongly mission-centric. And what does that mean? That's going to mean that there's something in you that you can't put your fingers on exactly, that is driving you and pulling you to something. And that something to you will be crystal clear, because after the merger, pre-merger, it feels like an old-fashioned FM radio between two stations. And all of a sudden it auto-locks, clicks in, and you're hearing it in stereo. That's the beautiful part, right? And in this mission of in this life's work that is super mission-centric, all types are needed. Every type is needed. There is not one particular type that is not needed. So what you have to do is to fully become you. Now let's talk about this. A lot of us seem so busy and so consumed with hating people into our way of thinking. Now I can tell you what, I've learned a lot by watching Facebook and social media over the last, 4 months. There's so much fucking hate, and it's a crazy kind of hate. And one group of people is trying to hate the other group of people into seeing things their way. And if you're of this mentality, you're crazy. You're not part of the solution, right? You cannot hate someone into seeing something your way. And this becomes, this originates out of you're wanting other people to conform. You have this great desire that you want other people to conform. And now the sides who, let's say in the simplest form, had started out as liberals and conservatives, let's say, there's just an argument, and now there's infighting against each of these groups over all different kinds of things. This deep state stuff, and now there's conspiracy theorists on the other side, and those people have fractured into more people flipping back for Trump on this side, and then these people have flipped out and gone this way, and you started out with 2 clans, and now there's at least 60 inner fighting. These are no good, and these are no good, and these are no good. And if you subscribe to this, you're missing the whole point. You see, the whole thing is that our differences are our strengths. The pearl is our differences. Our differences are our strengths. And then by discounting the differences of someone else, number one, you never hear it. You can never hear what they're talking about. And number 2, you're precluding yourself from seeing yourself. This is it. Let's learn today. Let's learn from this today. First thing is this: a basketball team with 5 centers does not work. A village who all people are imprinted the same way is a boring fucking place to live. It's boring, right? It's like the cartoon from the 70s, The Point. I'm looking for Oblio, right? So the thing is that our differences are a strength. Imagine a hospital where there were only doctors. No nurses, no janitors, no it doesn't work. None of this works. So by wanting everybody to be like everybody else, we're screwing it up. And then not only wanting them, I was in 1968, I was 6, right? But I don't remember what was going on then. I was too young to remember what that felt like, right? But when I see the hate that I see now and not understanding where, although it's divinely perfect, it can be a lot kinder. It can be so much kinder, so much kinder. And if you're healed or merged or want to feel what it feels like to be healed or merged, sit down with somebody who has a completely different opinion than you do and listen to them with your heart open. That's what it feels like to be merged. Doesn't mean you agree with them, not at all. Most people wouldn't know this, but I'm financially conservative. I would say middle liberal, but leaning right. But those are all, my thing is this: every single issue I look at from the aspect of the issue, not the party, not the idea, not this or not that. Just look at it from the aspect of the issue, because the medicine told me that if I'm not in truth, I'm wrong. So the first thing is we want to get in truth, and you can't get in truth unless you hear the other person and hear them with your heart. Now we're talking, right? Yeah, so that's the merge thing. And all types are needed. And be you, don't be anyone else. Oh my God, what a terrible thing. Like, if you ever wound up in your deathbed and you sat there and your whole life you tried to be someone else, you didn't even play the best song you had in your guitar, you're crazy. That's true waste, right? And in the same thing happens in these communities, like the medicine community or the spiritual community or the Red Road community or the whatever you want to call it community. In here, we have some great leaders. I know Michael Beckwith like he's my brother. I know him really well. He's the kind of guy we call each other up and text and talk and da-da-da-da-da. I know Taita Juanito Chindon. These two guys are saints, like they're saints. I don't want to be them because that's not what I came here to do. I came here to be uniquely me, but I want to be merged by being me. I want to walk through life merged so that I can have the fullest experience of knowing what it's like to be Gerry Powell, so that you can have the fullest experience of knowing what it's really like to be you. What a beautiful spot to be in, right? I want you to be the best person you can possibly be, the truest version of yourself you can possibly be, and then to experience that with love. That's what this merged life is about. It's not, when I was talking about wounded healers, it's not about being perfect. It's about the biggest wound being healed. And now we can walk through life with life's problems. And in a sense of contentment. A unique, very strange kind of contentment. Versus being completely fractured in healing. They're two different things. How do we do this? How do we survive and thrive with people who see things completely differently than we do? Well, I want to tell you, it's the law of large numbers. So, as crazy as it sounds, if I took a big jar of pennies and I asked 20 people how many pennies were in there and I averaged out their answers, they'd be wrong. But if I asked 1,000 people how many pennies were in there and I averaged out their answers, they would be within 1%. The average answer would be within 1%. So the real high counted, the real low counted, everybody's idea and opinion counted, and how that averages in is this line. So what we do when we have people on one side and people on the other side, the line is still in the middle. If you notice this, and this is what's crazy, I'll give you an example with taxes. Taxes in the United States have been as high as 95% and as low as 17%. And guess what the average is that people pay in every year? 21%. From the beginning. No matter what the tax rates are, the higher they are, the more creative the accounting gets. It's just the way that that things work. It's the way that things work. They come to these averages. We want to come to an average in ourselves, which is called balance. Balance comes out of the merger, right? So let's just keep talking about this. So there is this line in the middle, and this line is the line, and whether you like it or not, whether you want to admit this or not, but the world is, we're living in times, these are the least violent times of the last 5,000 years. These are. People are living longer than they ever had before. These are. These times are good times compared to the past. Things are getting better. And with this coronavirus vacation, things are even going to get better and better and better. But what we have to do is realize that our opinion is over here. There's a counterpart to that opinion, and somewhere in the middle is what works. Somewhere in the middle is what works. So I'm going to ask you, when you're looking at these things and when you start pretending you're something else, what does that mean? In a very strange sense, voting the ticket, not looking at what each individual issue is, but just saying, okay, this is how I think because my enemy's enemies are now my friends. And now we've distorted this line. The only way that the line can be there, and the line is the median that's running the earth. The only way that, whether that's a government, an energy, or whatever it is, we all affect it, right? We are all constantly affecting change. We are all constantly doing our job. I'm going to tell you, some of the great meditators and all these people who are super spiritual and all of the people that are out there, do me a favor. Go find an ant colony and look at it for a little bit. You can learn a real lot from an ant colony, a real lot about a lot of things, about harmony, about a lot of things. So what I'm saying is that person with the opposing view is not your enemy. He's your friend. He is you. You are him. When you say he's a MF or a POS, a this, a that, a this, a this, and this, you're saying it about yourself because you're both holding a tether to that line and you're both contributing to the middleness of that, both of you. And if you can look at things in this way, you can be a much greater presence, a much greater benefit to humanity by understanding how it works. You see, there's a bunch of people out there that are myopic. They're only looking right here, and they think the whole world begins and ends here, and it's their opinion, and that is idiotic. And it's super egocentric. But understanding that we're all playing this grand game, this beautiful once in a lifetime, it is once in a lifetime game, and that you don't get it back, and that you have to be you, and that being you is easiest from your merged self, but to do that and to recognize that everybody else has to be everybody else. Because if we all are you, it doesn't work. It doesn't work, and it's absolutely no fun. None at all, right? So we want it to work, and we want it to be fun, and the only way we can do that is by being ourselves. And I want you guys to experience what that feels like. And I swear to you, in all of the places I've ever been, and it just so happens that I'm involved with this one, but this place, Rhythmia, is the only place that I know where you can go and have this happen in a workshop setting where you're going to build this thing of merging back with yourself with the help of plant medicine and the wonderful people that work here that have dedicated their lives to this thing. And I gotta tell you, the other day, I get emails and Facebook requests, messages all day. And I had someone the other day who said, well, do you still feel the same way now after all this? Do I still feel the same way? This is proving my point. This is the new beginning. The 80-20 rule on this is we better do this now. We better merge now. We better come out whole now, because this life is so short, so short, and we don't want to waste any of it. And I don't want you to spend a day just talking from your head, trying to be someone else, and then getting in a fight over that. It's friggin' insanity. What I want you to spend the day doing is being yourself, feeling yourself, being happy to be you, being happy that you're in this thing, taking a look at each issue and trying to at least get to a piece of the truth, something you can hang your hat on in it, and to express it when asked, to express it kindly and gently, to be a part of the solution, because we're all holding this line, and that line is doing a good job. So what do I consider waste? I think is to die without understanding your unique value. That's what waste is. People talk about plastic waste, and I'm all with that. But there's another kind of waste. It's a human capital waste. And it's not even human capital, because that otherizes it as the gift to the world. It's a joy waste. It's a contentment waste. If you live your life without understanding the value of your uniqueness, you're done. You just got to hop on the train and get born again and go through this whole thing again. Please, while you're here, realize your value. It's hard to realize your value when you're not merged. When I was talking about some of these things before, about all types being needed, and that we're going to be called, and that we're going to feel mission-centric, you won't feel mission-centric if you're unmerged. What you will feel is confusion. Should I be in this relationship? Should I be in this job? I went to school for 4 years to become a writer, and I don't like writing. Like, all of this confusion goes away, and then mission centricity occurs. So I want you guys to feel the call to that mission. I want you to be a beneficial presence on this planet. I want you to feel what I feel. I want you to feel these things. And I'll tell you what, I am no thought leader. I am no anything. I'm just a guy that certain things happened to that have left a huge mark on me. And because of that, I alleviated the vast majority of my pain. So my life pain used to be a 10 every day. It's probably a 2. Probably a 2. And not only have I done it for myself, my team has done it for 7,500 other people, and we just got started. So please come here and taste the feeling of this. Please, if any of this is pulling at your heart or pulling at your soul, it's because your soul wants in this. So I love you guys. I really thank you for tuning in today. Let's just talk about the future. I clearly see the sun on the horizon. I clearly see what's coming and what's behind us. This is largely over. The rest are just technical issues. It's largely over. The rest is technical issues. We are coming out, and we're coming out new. And so this is the new beginnings. And I want to tell you, if you're in a place that is still somewhat locked down, take these last couple of days, weeks, whatever they are, and really do this work that I'm talking about, so that when we come out of this, I want to come out of it as a team. And what do I mean as a team? I don't want anybody to confuse that with a religion or a cult or any of that shit that I occasionally hear. I want them to come out as a team member. And what do I mean by a team member? A person who is merged with their soul, who just wants to demonstrate and love their own uniqueness and package that in a way to become a beneficial presence on the planet. Then you can live life, and it's really something else. The most exciting challenge of your life. So please, guys, may God hold you, may God keep you. I will be talking to you next week. What I'm going to tell you is this. When the government here rings the bell and says we're definitely open by this date, people are going to be flocking, and I mean flocking. So if you want to get a head start, book a date now for November. Book a date now for September. Get it locked in, because I'm going to tell you, everything will be gone. I really mean that. People are going to be looking for this answer, this wholeness, this connectedness, the thing that we do here, and they're going to be looking for it. And there aren't many places in the world that do it. As a matter of fact, I'm going to go out on a limb, but I don't know of anybody who does what we do. So please take a ticket at the deli, get your number and get in here, and we will see you at Rhythmia. Until next week, God bless you.